This is how a wind turbine is built. The first step in building the tower of this crane, which will be used to build the wind turbine itself, is to assemble its massive green body. Once it's assembled and ready for action, the base section of the concrete tower can now be installed. It looks like a cylindrical column and has holes on both sides that are used as anchors to secure the nacelle, which houses all the components needed for generating electricity. Next comes another cylinder with an opening at one end that fits into the top part of the tower and holds up the rest of the structure. These sections keep getting stacked higher until they reach their final height. Now we see the truck carrying the huge nacelle of the wind turbine being driven towards us. We also get our first look at the blades being lifted by the crane atop the already constructed tower. Here you can see workers inside the nacelle preparing to install the generator unit. And here come more parts of the nacelle being hoisted onto the tower. You can clearly see them securing these pieces onto the previously placed ones. As soon as those connections have been made, they start working on installing the generator unit inside the nacelle. They need to make sure everything is perfectly aligned before moving forward. After ensuring proper alignment, it's time to move on to the next stage, installing the hub assembly. The hub consists of several different components, including bearings and gears, that allow rotation between shafts within it. So once again, after making sure everything aligns well, workers begin assembling each component together. Within this large piece of machinery, within minutes, most of what was required from this phase has been completed successfully. At this point, we see workers preparing themselves by putting on safety gear, such as helmets or harnesses if necessary, so they don't fall while climbing around high places during installation work later on. Then we cut back over to footage showing someone else working near ground level below, where there seems to be some sort of machine involved with lifting heavy objects upwards, using cables attached above him. Back up top where things were left off earlier, you can observe two men standing close together, near one side edge of something white, looking object hanging downwards slightly, while being held securely overhead from behind them by ropes connected directly underneath whatever it may be holding onto. Slowly but surely, however, this mysterious item begins lowering itself slowly, as though gravity had taken control over it, instead of any human intervention whatsoever. But just when I thought nothing would happen anymore, I noticed movement coming from out front, when suddenly my eyes caught sight of yet another person wearing protective clothing, approaching quickly toward me. Without saying anything beforehand, before long enough, he reached right beside me without warning anyone nearby. What he intended doing next, he simply grabbed hold tightly onto whatever was dangling downwards before pulling himself upward alongside said thing until eventually reaching his desired destination safely. In no time flat, he disappeared completely from view altogether. Meanwhile, back outside again, there appeared to be activity taking place somewhere just beyond my line of vision, because although I couldn't quite tell exactly why, people seemed busy around here either way. Something told me that perhaps, maybe this could very well mean progress regarding construction efforts overall, since nobody ever really knows exactly what goes through people's minds sometimes anyway. Anyway, regardless whether true or not, after waiting patiently for about 1 minute or so, later than expected originally, finally came word via radio communication, stating that indeed yes, indeed, progress did occur during this brief interlude period between shots shown thus far. Upon hearing confirmation given, everyone present cheered happily. Upon receiving good news regarding completion status, regarding ongoing projects underway currently, taking shape throughout various locations worldwide, overall simultaneously too. Needless to say though, After receiving said confirmation given earlier today, it's safe to assume that everything should be fine now. Moving forward into tomorrow morning onwards, without any further interruptions whatsoever, unless otherwise specified beforehand either way.